Modern academia operates on an unexamined assumption that a hard, impenetrable wall exists between human subjects and everything else in the universe. This framework, often called the Separatist agenda, is a structural legacy of post-Enlightenment Cartesian philosophy. It positions humans as detached observers, standing outside of reality. This methodology categorizes the non-human world into two states: a passive object to be studied, or a resource to be extracted. The ontological turn in the social sciences serves as a challenge to this framework, questioning whether a single, objective reality can be mapped by a detached observer. Applying this separatist lens to indigenous cultures creates a structural mismatch. Tools designed to analyze a world of passive objects struggle to record a reality built entirely on active relations. For over a century, Victorian-era anthropology classified animism as a belief where humans mistakenly projected souls onto inanimate objects. Professor Graham Harvey reframes the concept. He describes animism as a rigorous relational epistemology, a system for managing specific interactions between different kinds of beings. Anthropologist Irving Hallowell used the term other-than-human persons to ground this idea, moving away from the abstract connotations of spirits. In this framework, personhood is an ecological status earned through relational capacity and communication, rather than a quality dictated by human DNA. Because plants, stones, and weather systems participate in these interactions, they are afforded personhood, which in turn demands specific ethical responsibilities and etiquette from humans. Animism functions as a system for tracking the material and ecological entanglements that sustain a community. The depth of the separatist agenda is most visible in the structure of our language. In modern English, the word totem usually refers to a detached, standalone symbol or a mascot representing a group. However, in its original Initiation of Gringer, the root concept cannot exist independently. It requires a mandatory possessive prefix or suffix. The speaker must say my totem or our totem, locking the concept into an unbreakable relationship between the person and the clan. While Western language defaults to isolated objects, Indigenous grammar requires a continuous acknowledgement of a broader kinship network. This relational ontology is mirrored in biological science, specifically through the work of evolutionary theorists like Lynn Margulis. Margulis demonstrated that the idea of a strictly bounded, individual human subject is a biological fiction. Human respiration serves as a clear example. Breathing appears to be a solo activity, yet it functions as an act of biological symbiosis. For oxygen to diffuse across membranes and become available in the human bloodstream, the body relies on specific, ongoing bacterial interactions. Humans function as holobionts, multi-species communities operating through continuous internal and external relation. The animist view of interconnected personhood reflects the microbiological reality of life more accurately than the Enlightenment concept of the isolated individual. These biological and linguistic realities expose a methodological crisis, the Western academic default of representation. Post-Enlightenment thinking conditioned researchers to view art and language as symbols pointing to a deeper, absent reality, rather than being the reality itself. This representational habit stands in contrast to the Indigenous epistemology of immanence. To a Western researcher, an Aboriginal bark painting represents an animal or a place. In an ontology of immanence, the painting is the place, the totem, and the painter's body simultaneously. The same logic applies to ceremony. Animist rituals function as direct, material engagements with other-than-human persons, rather than metaphorical plays. Treating an immanent artifact or a ceremony as a symbol obscures its actual function and separates the researcher from its meaning. This crisis of representation has a physical impact on the act of ethnographic fieldwork. When a researcher stands outside a ritual circle to take notes, they are attempting to extract objective data from a distance. By attempting to analyze the ceremony as a representation, the observer breaks the immanent reality of the event. In animist cultures, the practice of the ceremony is the knowledge. Attempting to extract an abstract explanation often ruins the potency of the act. Objective distance, a foundational requirement of Western science, functions as a destructive force when applied to relational ontologies. To study these systems accurately, researchers must move away from objective extraction and toward integration within the relational network. The Maori guest-making protocol on the marae provides a structural alternative. Entering this space requires confronting the warrior, demonstrating that right relation includes formalized enmity, conflict, and negotiation. A researcher cannot learn from this community without becoming part of its physical and social body, the ancestor house. There is a persistent danger of academics adopting these terms as superficial greenwashing, rather than accepting their material and ethical demands. Indigenous animist knowledge carries a material demand. It requires academia to move past the illusion of the separated subject and recognize our inescapable entanglements with the living world.